The one lesson that comes out of this, because we've been talking about, the fact that it's going to be all San Antonio, it's going to be all OKC in the West, and they're going to be really tough. You know what? I think the Knicks proved that if you put together, it's almost like a combination lock. If you put the right combination of players together, you can play with those teams and you can beat those teams. I took it as a sign of hope for the Lakers, that there is a combination that will allow us to go deep into the playoffs next year.
Of course, there always is. And the reason I was so critical, and by the way, all year, really from the middle of the year, I kept saying I put a reel together I had a reel put together because I didn't want to sound like I'm making it up. Since the middle of the year, I've been saying Spurs are going to win the championship. They're easily the best team in basketball. Unless they face the Knicks in the finals, the Knicks match up well with them. What I didn't realize is the Knicks would also catch fire, right? Like they were both the most dominant. Oh my God, they're blowing teams out by 50 points. Like you look back at it now, you're like, oh, maybe the Hawks weren't so bad. They won 2 games, And then they were also the comeback kids, right? So you can absolutely put the right combination together. The key to it, and the reason I've been so critical of Luka, is his style of play will dictate everything. That is like, it's up to Luka. He's capable of doing it, right? Like imagine being a Mavs fan right now, guys.
Oh.
Once upon a time, Steve Nash walks out of the building with no resistance, and it's like, yeah, you win a championship with Dirk, but you look at Dirk and Nash and go, we should have had 2 or 3. And then you draft Luka and Jalen Brunson in the same draft, and together they get to the conference finals, and then individually Luka gets to the finals and Brunson wins the championship, and neither one is in the building. You got to be going crazy, right? But Luka is capable of winning a championship, but he must play the right way. And one of his issues is when it's like a running quarterback. If you can always get the first down with your legs, when do you learn pocket presence, right? There's the short-term incentive to get the first down, keep the sticks moving. But that interferes with the long-term incentive, which is play in a way that you can win a championship. So it's super important for guys who can run at quarterback to stay disciplined in the pocket so they can develop the kind of awareness that they're going to need to win a championship. That's Luka. Luka can always get a high percentage shot relative, for him.
Yeah.
Because he's that kind of offensive genius. But he has to resist that temptation on every possession, the short-term incentive to score, so that other guys can touch the ball. He's got to do it. And if he does, then you can put the right guys around him and they can win.
Max, we're talking to Max Kellerman. You sit next to Rich Paul on the Game Over podcast multiple times a week. What's your gut telling you happens with LeBron?
It's so interesting. Could he have had the Knicks come up short? Could he have gone to the Knicks? That's not out of the realm of possibility. Can't go there now, right?
Right.
Can't do it now. If it's important to him to win a championship immediately, or guys to go somewhere where he feels valued in terms of the championship experience he brings to the franchise, then there are franchises like, for example, San Antonio, right? Where if LeBron joined, you'd be like, oh my God. But I think given what the Lakers can pay,
yep,
and given the fact that it's not like, like if I told you you're starting a franchise, you have Luka Dončić, and nothing else, you'd be like, okay, we're off to a good start, right? And the Lakers also have Austin Reaves and even guys like Hachimura. They have good players. Given that fact, and given the fact that he lives in LA and that they can pay him the most, my guess would be he's a Laker next year.
How about Austin Reaves? What are you hearing about him?
Guys, what's so interesting about Austin Reaves? And he's actually my favorite player on the Lakers. I think he plays the right way. Even when they were going through bad spells, and even though he had a bad playoffs and all that, I just like the cut of his jib. I like the fact that even when things are down, he's still hustling back on defense, even if he's not a good defender, right? But he's putting in the effort. On the way the Lakers are constructed, and this is why I brought it up last year, though Rich got blamed for it. It's really me saying it, and it's my idea. It's like to me, that's the chit you have that you can trade for something. He has value,
right?
And I would want to put stuff around, like you just mentioned, the Knicks. What do the Knicks have? They have a point forward / center in Karl Anthony Towns. And then we're not going to win the championship until Mike Brown was like, we're going to run the offense through him a lot of the time, take the ball out of Jalen's hands a bit. Luka needs someone like that. He needs someone that can run the offense and play some defense, by the way, that can take the ball out of his hands sometimes. And if the Lakers were really smart about this, the guy's already on the roster, and his name is LeBron James, right? LeBron should be, Luka should be like a point forward, and so should LeBron, and they should share those responsibilities, and I think it would make the team a lot better.
Hey, listen, Max, it is always great to talk to you. I'm really happy for you that you get to celebrate this. I mean, you're generally kind of a cynical guy, and I'm moved that you are moved by it, that it has touched your heart the way it has. I thought it was a great description of what's going on in New York right now. The podcast is Game Over with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul. It is available on the Ringer Podcast Network and on Netflix. Hey, Max, thanks for coming on, man. Let's do this again soon.
Always great to talk to you guys.
All right.
All right, see you, Max.
There's the Max Kellerman. All right, coming up next for you today.